Hey!
Hi. Wow, you said close up, and I feel that,
I can't because
and I see
well,
that.
what I'm doing right now is I'm recording the live
Oh,
so I
okay.
can put it like on my YouTube if that's okay with you.
That's totally fine. We're here to talk. Not an ad, honey. Oh, the ghetto. Okay, sorry. We're here to, talk about what you do. So we met pretty recently. I feel like we are in that still getting to know each other stage.
Yeah.
And with that, I think I've learned more and more about what it is you do through social media and through online presence, because I feel like there wasn't much of I didn't really understand much when we first met. And so can you explain to the people how you would define the content that you create and how you choose to express yourself online?
Uh, the content I create is basically just photography, minimalist. Um, I feel like that's my niche right now, minimalism and photography.
You don't
To
just do
to
photography
talk about
though.
No, no, I do YouTube as well.
your
And I know that on there, because I've watched your videos, a subscriber, a streamer over here. I know from that there is a little bit more to your brand, and I didn't. You asked the other day on Instagram, like, to explain, what your brand is via your YouTube and your Instagram. And I thought about it, but I was like, let me just save it for the live. And there is a bit of motivating and empowering others to start, and whether that's
Sure.
also being, in the photography world, whether that's just like motivating people to get up when they don't feel like it. I've seen your content, and I know that that's a message kind of strung throughout, no matter what the topic necessarily is. Why do you think
Right.
that that's something that is important for you to share?
I feel like a lot of people, including myself, tend to like put themselves in a box and feel like they shouldn't go after what makes them what fuels their soul, in a sense.
yeah.
And I feel like me personally, when I don't do stuff I like, I just get sad. I just get sad. Just like, for example, like I'll do a YouTube video this week and then I won't post for 2 weeks for personal reasons, and I just get really really sad, and I feel like, what am I doing with my life? I don't feel satisfied. And then the second I start taking self portraits or like thinking of ideas to shoot, and start making the video, start editing the video, which sounds annoying because editing is long. You know that. You should know.
Yeah.
Um, After that, you just feel so good, and I try my best to uh, know that it's for myself first before saying that like, if I put it out there and nobody likes it, I don't care. It's for me. It makes me feel good, and whoever likes that, then hey, welcome to the community if you subscribe.
So would you say that you create the kind of content that you would want to watch if you weren't you?
Uh, yeah, actually, the empowering, especially the personal, like, empowering stuff, the motivational stuff, really, it's talking to myself, to a camera, because I feel like a lot of people need to hear that. And it's funny because, like, it sounds so, like, why would you talk about that? That's like, it's kind of too personal,
Yeah.
like, but I feel like you should talk about it.
Yeah, I agree. I just had this conversation kind of off camera the other night about this setup, live chat with Matt. And I was talking about it, and I was like, there are times where I don't want to. And there was a time I canceled the episode. And it was really like, I don't even want to do this. Like, how can I expect anyone else to want to watch or want to engage? And if it's not for you first, then you're not like serving yourself as the creator.
Yeah, you have to have fun with it. I mean, yeah, it has to come from you. It can't just be like, oh, I want to do this because you're doing that. It's not genuine. And I felt like when I started my YouTube when I was in high school too, because I heard you say you started in high school.
Guys,
It was
yeah.
very like trying to get the
Oh
people
my
to like
gosh.
me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, I'm funny. And it's just like me, please. And it's just I post a video and nobody liked it, and I was just like, I felt bad because that's not really me, and That's not really what I want to talk about. I want to do other stuff. And it just becomes this like endless journey of trying to please people. You should just please yourself. Just do what you want.
And it's not, I think there's, especially with the culture of online kind of creators or online, I don't know, like followings, I think there's this misconception that if a video does do well, then that will be the substitute for the feeling that should have drove the video. And I know, looking back at my Disney YouTube, there are some videos that did very well, and I still am like, I'm glad they're private because I don't want anyone else to see that because I wasn't being myself. But that being said,
But did you enjoy making it? Did you enjoy making the videos?
That's a complicated question. So thank you for asking it, because I appreciate it. I'll think about it more. But yes and no. Not right now. Not looking back.
Okay.
But you talked a little bit about how people used to react to the videos that you made when you were trying to get people to engage with them positively. How has that changed? How have your loved ones engaged with your work now?
So when I started, I was like, either I do YouTube because it keeps calling me every time I let go of YouTube. I tried YouTube 3 times. I did once when it was just comedy, high school. Second time was fitness. And this time I was just like, all right, I must just get really down. Like, either I do it or just shut up. Don't complain. Don't say that you didn't try your best, whatever. Now it's been a year of dedication and doing YouTube. My friends engaged. Like they would see it, but they wouldn't give me feedback. My loved ones know about it because I put it on the story, but nobody really engages. I feel like random people engage more with my stuff than the personal friends that I have.
Jay said, how does that make you feel? And I think that's an important question, and I think I'm just gonna steal it. So how does that make you feel?
My friends and stuff not engaging?
Yeah.
At first it really did hurt, and I was not to be petty, but I was like subbing them on Twitter. But,
God, the Twitter.
And then they caught on, and then they confronted me about it, and I was just like, oh no, I feel like I post videos up. I try to better myself and be creative.
And I feel like you guys aren't being supportive. All you have to do is like or comment something or share it, and that hurt. And then I realized I'm doing this to please them, which I'm doing this for them. And then I realized I should really just do this for myself. And after a while, I just let go of that because you don't have to support me. I do this for myself.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because it's like, on one hand, you don't want to be creating for other people, and you don't want to rely on other people's reactions, whether or not you create, whether or not you think it's good. And then on the other hand, you do want to be supported. There is a natural desire to be supported by the people around you, and I think that we do love a good time. And I just think that it's valid to want your friends to support you, whether or not it feels like you're whining or not, or whether or not it feels like, and they commented, they don't even have to like what you're doing, but a simple share goes a long way. And I think when it comes to sharing other people's work, I think I've been thinking a lot about how personal social media feels for people. Like, our accounts and our platforms feel like simply ours, and to share other people's things sometimes for some people feels like what's the word? I don't know. It just feels like something they don't want to do because it's their own corner of the internet. Yeah. What do you think? What is something you wish people would keep in mind when it came to thinking about whether or not to share their friends' work?
I feel like I forgot, I don't know her name. They don't understand the value of a sharing. I say that, and if you're gonna not support in the way of your friend wants you to, at least show them that you're happy, at least that you're doing, because it's very hard to post a picture and post a content that you worked on hours. I work on a video for the whole day. I start from 10 and then I end at 7. and edited everything. And I would just want the people who have friends that do stuff like this, keep in mind that it's hard. It's mentally exhausting, and they're trying to be creative. You know, be happy that you have a friend that's creative and trying to do something different.
I think you made a comment saying audiences on the outside maybe don't see what goes into it. And then, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. And then Angie said, you got to try to give the support that your friend needs, not the one you want to give. That, yeah, it sounds like what you were saying. When you get support that people were giving, it was never what you needed in those moments. It was never what would help you. And I think that's important. And if you don't know, ask. I think that's the message here. Because sometimes I'm not sure what my friend wants. I do what I think makes sense.
My friend said this before, because we all had when we all met up and talked about the whole support thing, and there were basically, one of my friends was like, oh, but yeah, you don't support this way, but a like in common goes a long way. What you might not find funny, somebody else will find hilarious, and and you know, what content you watch might suck to somebody else, but you don't know that, you know. So just sharing, that's the whole point, to expose me.
But I like that, like, imagery. You're pushing the content to the next person. It's like, it may not be for you, but your friend made it, and the next person who sees it might, you know.
I love it, yeah.
I do think that holds a lot of value, even necessarily, like, you know, when it comes to supporting other people who are doing creative ventures. The other day, my friend Erica, she asked, you know, everyone, what was it? She asked something about sewing or like creating clothes, and I had no answers, but I knew someone who did, so I just sent the message to someone else and was like, hey, do you have answers for her? And like, they connected. And so I think people need to think of sharing or supporting their friends publicly like that. You're not necessarily, you know, it has nothing to do with you. It
don't make it
really a
personal.
service. How has creating changed for you now in these different circumstances now that we're in quarantine?
Difficult, because since I'm a photographer, I'm limited now that I'm here, so I feel weird taking pictures of myself all the time. It's like, oh, I have no subject. I'm the subject, I guess.
I mean, there's no difference on this end. I guess I see your face all the time. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, but it's changed because you know, you don't get to go out as much. You feel like you don't get a lot of ideas. So you tend to like look on the internet to find inspiration. But
yeah, Barbie talked about that in a previous episode. She was saying seeing the same things every day is hard because she can't get inspired by life. She's like seeing the same walls and the same things because she's in her house. And so we talked about it a little bit like a few episodes ago, but I do...
The accent? Whose accent? Matthew's accent?
I agree. It can't... My accent.
I don't have an accent.
I think she's talking to you because she knows me. And you definitely have an accent. You know, we're not doing this. This is not the point of the episode. I think now more than ever, people are really connecting with content, whether that be, you know, independent artists on Instagram or something as big as like watching more TV shows or more movies. People are really running to the arts because that's kind of what you lean on in times of turmoil. So I hope this also translates into support. And that's kind of why this episode is born.
Yeah, this is my first live ever. Like I would have never gone live ever in my life.
You're doing great.
I'm so nervous.
I just want to thank you for coming on, but I also want to thank you for, no one knows this besides us, but you were the person that inspired this week's episode. I literally was watching your story and I was like, oh, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about people like Cup. So here we are.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Someone said, I ain't got nothing else to do. I'm in quarantine. What do you want from me? All right.